The most dangerous place is where nothing hurts. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you truly felt uncomfortable? Not from external pain, but from stretching yourself towards something bigger. When was the last time you took a risk, made a move, or pursued something that made your heart beat faster? Not out of fear, but out of hunger. If your answer is, I can't remember, then this message is for you. We live in a world that praises comfort. We're told to seek stability, to keep a steady job, to avoid risk, to stay safe, to not stand out, to follow the well-lit path and avoid the dark woods of uncertainty. And that's exactly why you're stuck. Let's be brutally honest. You're not poor because you don't have enough opportunities. You're not broke because you lack intelligence. You're not behind because the world is unfair. You're struggling because you're comfortable. Too comfortable. You've built a life that doesn't challenge you. You've constructed a routine that avoids pain. You've designed a lifestyle where you get just enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. And here's the dangerous truth. Comfort is the new poverty. Because comfort tricks you into thinking you're okay while quietly robbing you of your potential. In the past, poverty was about not having money. Today, poverty wears a new mask. It looks like a stable job that pays the bills but kills your soul. It looks like Netflix binges and takeout meals that keep you pacified while your dreams collect dust. It looks like saying, "I'm fine," when you're not. But here's what no one told you. Comfort zones are nothing more than cages, and the longer you stay in them, the smaller your life becomes. This video is not for those who want to be average. It's for the restless ones, the ones who feel something burning inside, something that says, there's more for me than this. Over the next 10 chapters, we're going to destroy the illusion that playing it safe will protect you. We'll expose the hidden cost of comfort. We'll uncover why your fear of discomfort is the very thing keeping you broke. And we'll show you how discomfort, when embraced, becomes the birthplace of greatness. Because comfort doesn't build empires. Comfort doesn't create wealth. Comfort doesn't leave a legacy. Discomfort does. So if you're ready to leave behind the soft prison of just enough, if you're done sacrificing your future for momentary ease, if you're ready to trade comfort for growth, then let's begin.
Part 1. Stability is a lie, how comfort disguises decay. You were taught that stability is the goal. Get a good job, buy a house, pay your bills, stay out of trouble, don't rock the boat. Stability was sold to you as the destination, a place of peace, security, and success. But what if I told you that stability is just another word for stagnation? That behind the curtain of your so-called safe life is a slow, invisible decay. Let me explain. 1.1. The illusion of the safe life. A steady paycheck, a predictable schedule, familiar routines, no surprises. Sounds ideal, right? But that's not safety, that's sedation. You've been lulled into a life where nothing changes, and because nothing changes, nothing grows. Your job doesn't excite you, your income doesn't scale, your days feel like copies of each other, and worst of all, you've stopped dreaming. That's not safety, that's decay with a smile on its face. 1.2. The enemy is not failure, it's neutrality. Here's the harsh truth. Failure is loud. It's painful. It wakes you up. But stability? Stability is quiet. It lulls you. It comforts you. as it slowly kills your ambition. When you fail, at least you know you tried. When you stay stable, you don't even realize you're drowning because it doesn't feel like pain. It just feels like nothing. And nothing is dangerous. People don't go broke overnight. They go broke inch by inch. They settle, they wait, they avoid risk. And then one day they look up and 10 years are gone. 1.3. Stability makes you a slave to the past. Stability changes you to who you used to be, to the version of you that once made sense, but no longer fits your dreams. Think about it. Maybe you took a job at 25 because it was good enough. Now you're 35 and still in it. Not because it feeds your purpose, but because it pays the rent. You didn't choose growth, you chose comfort. And now comfort owns you. 1.4. What you call security is just predictable misery. You stay in that job because it's safe. You live in that neighborhood because it's familiar. You hang around the same people because they don't challenge you. But guess what? That job will never make you wealthy. That neighborhood will never expand your worldview. Those people will never push you to greatness. You're not safe. You're trapped. You've traded potential for predictability, and you're calling it responsible. But it's not responsibility, it's fear dressed up in business casual. 1.5. Comfort kills the urgency to change. When your life is just good enough, you don't feel the urgency to change it. You're not suffering, you're not thriving, you're just surviving. And here's the truth. People who are fine are often in more danger than those who are failing. Because failure motivates action, fine does not. Fine is the land of the almosts. Almost successful, almost ready, almost fulfilled. But almost will never pay the price of freedom, and almost never gets remembered. 1.6. Growth only happens in motion. Comfort is stillness. Growth is motion. Think of a river. The water that moves is alive and clear. The water that sits still becomes stagnant, dirty, and lifeless. Your life works the same way. The longer you sit still, the more your dreams rot. The more your skills dull, the more your courage fades. You don't get to greatness by being still. You get there by moving forward, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. 1.7. The real cost of comfort. Comfort costs you more than discomfort ever will. It costs you your time, potential, joy, creativity, opportunities, wealth, legacy. And the worst part? It convinces you that giving all that up is smart. But what's smart about choosing a paycheck over your passion? What's wise about staying small when you were born to go big? 1.8. The lie they want you to believe. They want you to believe that stepping outside the norm is dangerous, that taking a risk will destroy your life, that success is for the lucky, that discomfort is suffering. They want you to believe it because a comfortable person is an easy person to control. When you're addicted to comfort, you'll avoid risk. When you avoid risk, you'll settle. When you settle, you stay broke. When you're broke, you can't rebel. You can't build. You can't change the world. So you stay exactly where they want you. Safe, tired, obedient, broke. 1.9. The antidote. Choose discomfort on purpose. If you want to break free from this lie, you must do something radical. You must choose discomfort. Not just endure it, pursue it. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens when you push beyond it. That means saying yes to opportunities that scare you, speaking up when you usually stay silent, investing in skills before you feel ready, moving forward even when it's messy. Because your future wealth doesn't lie in the safe choice. It lives in the bold one. 1.10. Stability is a trap, disguised as a prize. Here's what you need to remember. Stability is not the goal, freedom is. Comfort is not the reward, fulfillment is. Playing it safe is not wise, it's deadly. If you're living for stability, you're living in reverse. You're building a future that looks safe, but it will collapse under the weight of your untapped potential. So stop worshiping stability. Burn the comfort zone to the ground and build something better with the ashes. Because comfort is not your friend. It's the silent killer of everything you could have become.
Part 2. Poor isn't about money, it's about momentum. Let's clear something up. Being poor isn't just about not having money. It's about lacking motion, lacking forward energy, lacking fire. It's about being stuck, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, no matter how many dollars you might have in the bank. Poverty starts in the mind long before it shows up in your wallet. And the root of modern poverty isn't always external struggle, it's internal inertia. Let's dive deeper. 2.1. Wealth is a direction, not a destination. We've been taught to view wealth as a place, a number in your bank account, a house in a nice neighborhood, a car that turns heads, a lifestyle that says, I made it. But that's a lie. Wealth is not a destination, it's a direction. It's the forward pull of your life. It's the constant momentum of progress, learning, expanding, becoming more valuable over time. The moment you stop moving forward, you stop building wealth. Even if you still have money, you're already poor in spirit, and that poverty eventually catches up in dollars too. 2.2. Momentum is more valuable than money. Let me say this clearly. You can lose all your money and still not be poor, because if you have momentum, you can rebuild it. And on the flip side, you can have a lot of money and still be broke, because if you've lost momentum, you're just slowly bleeding out in silence. Momentum is the secret weapon of every self-made success story, and the killer of almost every wasted potential. 2.3. Comfort steals your momentum. Now, here's the dangerous part. Comfort kills momentum. It doesn't do it instantly. It does it slowly, quietly. You don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. You stop waking up early. You stop pushing your limits. You stop dreaming big. You stop learning new things. You stop putting yourself in rooms where you feel small. Because, hey, life is okay, right? You're surviving. You're fine. Why change? That's how momentum dies. Not with a bang, but with a yawn. 2.4. When you stop moving, the world moves past you. We live in a world of acceleration. Technology evolves every hour. Skills expire like dairy. Opportunities vanish as fast as they appear. If you're not growing, you're not standing still, you're falling behind. Comfort tricks you into thinking the world will wait for you. It won't. It's not that you're getting worse, it's that everything around you is getting better, and you're not keeping up. Momentum is the only thing that keeps you from being irrelevant. 2.5. Every dream has an expiration date. You don't have forever. That book you wanted to write, that business you wanted to start, that skill you wanted to learn, that risk you were going to take. It all has an expiration date. And the longer you wait in the name of comfort, the faster that date approaches. Eventually, what was once someday becomes never. Momentum is about understanding that time is not neutral. It's either working for you or stealing from you. 2.6. The poor are not always the penniless. We look at the poor as people who live on the streets, or those with no assets, no savings, no job. But there's another kind of poor, a hidden kind. The man who makes 6 figures but hates every day.
The woman with luxury handbags but zero freedom. The office worker who clocks in, clocks out, and feels nothing inside. They're not poor in cash, they're poor in momentum. They've stopped moving forward. They've stopped evolving. They've stopped becoming. That's the real poverty of this generation. 2.7. Movement creates opportunities you can't plan. Momentum is magical. It creates doors you never even knew existed. When you're in motion, people notice you. Ideas find you. Confidence multiplies. Luck seems to just happen. But it's not luck. It's movement. You didn't manifest it from the couch. You created it by being in motion. Even small steps lead to massive shifts. That's why poor isn't about what you have. It's about what you're doing. 2.8. Wealth loves the brave. Momentum favors the bold. The world doesn't reward the most cautious. It rewards those who dare, who move, who try, who fail forward. Even if you stumble, if you're in motion, you're still ahead of 99% of people stuck in their comfort zone. Don't wait to feel ready. Move before you're confident. Because the confidence comes from the momentum, not the other way around. 2.9. Stillness attracts decay. Still water becomes poisonous. Still dreams become regrets. Still minds become fragile. That's the law of nature. What doesn't move rots. So ask yourself, where in your life have you stopped moving? What area used to excite you but now feels lifeless? What idea have you buried under fear? Your poverty may not be in your bank account. It may be in your energy, your urgency, your motion. 2.10. The cure. Chase progress, not perfection. Waiting for perfect conditions is a lie, comfort tells you. Start now. Start small. Start messy. Just start. Momentum is not about leaps. It's about movement. It doesn't care if you're scared. It rewards action. It multiplies courage. It compounds confidence. The richest people in the world aren't the ones who had the best ideas. They're the ones who kept moving when everyone else stopped. So stop measuring your wealth by dollars. Measure it by momentum. Because that's what determines whether you stay broke or break through.
Part 3. How comfort kills ambition, and why most people don't even notice. 3.1. The silent murder of ambition. Ambition doesn't usually die with a bang. It doesn't go out in a blaze of failure. It dies quietly, slowly, smothered by the softness of comfort. Not with defeat, but with distractions. Not with pain, but with pleasure. Not with trauma, but with television. This is the danger of modern life. Your dreams don't have to be stolen. They just need to be delayed long enough for you to forget you had them. 3.2. When hunger is replaced by convenience. Do you remember how hungry you once were? Back when you were younger, broke, driven by fire? You didn't care if people laughed. You didn't care if it was hard. You had something to prove. But now you've got a couch, a phone, a routine, a little bit of stability. And with every convenience added to your life, your hunger faded just a bit more. That's how ambition dies. Not from lack of ability, but from abundance of ease. 3.3. The numbing effect of a good enough life. Let's talk about a dangerous drug, good enough.
A job that's good enough. A relationship that's good enough. A paycheck that's good enough. A body that's good enough. It's not what you wanted. It's not what you dreamed. But it's not terrible, right? So you stay. You settle. And slowly, your ambition becomes a memory. A relic from a version of yourself that wanted more. Comfort numbs the pain of mediocrity, but it never eliminates the ache. That ache is your ambition, suffocating in silence. 3.4. Society rewards the comfortable. Here's the twisted part. The world will applaud your comfort. You'll be told, be realistic. You've got a good thing, don't mess it up. At least you have a job. You should be grateful. And while gratitude is powerful, gratitude is not a reason to stop growing. You can be thankful and still want more. You can love where you are and still push forward. But comfort tricks you into thinking ambition is greed, when in truth, ambition is your duty. To yourself, to your potential, to the people who could benefit from your greatness. 3.5. Discomfort is the alarm clock of the soul. Ambition isn't born in ease. It's born in discomfort. That moment when you realize you're wasting your life. That feeling of being left behind. That sting of regret after saying no to opportunity. That night when you cry because you know you're capable of more. Those are the moments that wake your ambition up. But if you never allow yourself to feel discomfort, you never hear the alarm. You just keep sleeping in a life that looks okay on the outside, but feels hollow on the inside. 3.6. Most people don't even know it's gone. Here's what's terrifying. Most people don't even realize they've lost their ambition. They've rebranded it. They call it being practical, being stable, being mature. But it's not maturity. It's resignation. They've accepted less than they're capable of and convinced themselves it's noble. Ambition doesn't scream when it dies. It whispers, maybe later, until there's no later left. 3.7. The comfort mind doesn't dream. The most dangerous thing comfort steals from you isn't money. It's imagination. You stop visualizing a better future. You stop dreaming of wild success. You stop playing with ideas that make your heart race. You become efficient, but empty. Productive, but passionless. Functional, but forgettable. Your mind, once a playground of possibilities, becomes a checklist of obligations. And with every unchecked dream, you die a little bit inside. 3.8. The ambition trap. Waiting for the right time. Comfort loves to feed you this lie. You can chase your dreams, just not yet. You'll do it after you save a little more. The kids grow up. Things calm down. You feel more confident. But here's the truth. There is no right time. There is only now. And now is always uncomfortable. You don't find ambition waiting at the perfect moment. You awaken it by acting despite the imperfect moment. 3.9. How to reignite your ambition. If comfort has numbed your drive, you need to reignite it. Not with motivation, but with movement. Here's how. Put yourself in rooms where you feel small. Get around people doing more than you. It will sting your ego and fuel your fire. Set goals that scare you. If your goals don't make you a little nauseous, they're too small. Publicly commit to something. Pressure creates diamonds, or at least movement. Cut comfort at the root. Cancel that subscription. Wake up earlier. Say no to easy. Take the next uncomfortable step. Don't wait to feel ready. Do it now. Ambition doesn't return through thinking. It returns through doing. Ambition was never meant to be comfortable. You were born to stretch, to struggle, to strive, to create. Comfort is the enemy of your design. You were built for the climb, not the couch. You were built for becoming, not maintaining. You were built to thrive, not survive. So if you've been feeling numb, uninspired, stuck, check your comfort. Because that quiet, soft, convenient life you've built, it might just be the graveyard of your ambition.
Part 4, the price of playing it safe. How risk aversion is keeping you broke. 4.1, the myth of safety. From the moment we're old enough to understand the world, we're taught one thing above all: play it safe. Be careful. Avoid risk. Stay out of trouble. Don't rock the boat. Stick to what you know. But here's the truth no one tells you. Playing it safe is the most dangerous game of all. Because while you think you're protecting yourself from failure, you're actually guaranteeing mediocrity. 4.2. Every safe choice has a hidden cost. Think about the choices you've made in the name of safety. The job you took because it was secure. The opportunity you passed up because it wasn't guaranteed. The business idea you shelved because the timing wasn't perfect. The move you didn't make because you were afraid of starting over. At the time, it felt smart, prudent, responsible. But what did it cost you? Growth,
excitement, progress, money, identity, and worst of all, the chance to see what you are truly capable of. Safe choices often come with invisible price tags, and you don't notice them until it's too late. 4.3. Risk aversion is fear wearing a mask. Here's something uncomfortable. Most of your safe decisions weren't made out of wisdom. They were made out of fear. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of losing money. Fear of rejection. Fear of making the wrong move. But instead of calling it fear, you called it being practical. Instead of calling it doubt, you called it realistic. And that's how fear wins. Not by stopping you, but by convincing you that standing still is smart. 4.6. The world rewards risk, not safety. Look around you. Who are the wealthiest, most fulfilled, most impactful people in the world? They're not the safest. They're the boldest. Entrepreneurs, creators, inventors, artists, risk takers. They put something on the line. They bet on themselves. They faced rejection, failure, uncertainty, and moved anyway. The world doesn't reward those who play not to lose. It rewards those who play to win. 4.7. Playing it safe is a slow death. Risk is sharp and immediate. It stings fast. But playing it safe, that's a slow, silent death. The death of your dreams. The death of your drive. The death of your identity. The death of your joy. You won't notice it right away. You'll just feel a little more tired, a little more numb, a little more like something's missing. Until one day, you look in the mirror and don't recognize who you see. Because the person you could have been was buried under layers of what-ifs. 4.8. The financial cost of playing it safe. Let's talk money. Risk-averse people often say, I can't afford to take a chance. But what they don't realize is this: you can't afford not to. Comfort is expensive. Staying in a job you've outgrown costs you years of higher income. Avoiding investments out of fear costs you compound growth. Sitting on your business idea costs you market share. Saying no to opportunity costs you wealth. Playing it safe might protect your current income, but it murders your future income. 4.7. Risk is the price of freedom. Want freedom? Want wealth? Want impact? Then here's the bill. Risk. There's no other currency accepted. You want to build your dream? Pay in uncertainty. You want to escape the rat race? Pay in discomfort. You want to live life on your terms? Pay in rejection, confusion, self-doubt, and grit. Freedom isn't free. It costs you your fear. It costs you your excuses. It costs you your addiction to comfort. But the payoff? Everything you ever wanted. 4.8. Not taking risks is the biggest risk of all. Let this sink in. The riskiest thing you can do in today's world is to avoid risk. Jobs aren't secure anymore. The economy is unpredictable. Technology is replacing humans. Stability is an illusion. The people who survive, thrive, succeed aren't the cautious. They're the adaptive, the fast, the flexible, the fearless. In a changing world, safety doesn't lie in avoiding risk. It lies in becoming someone who can handle it. 4.9. You don't need to eliminate risk, just redefine it. Most people think risk means recklessness, but that's not true. Real risk is calculated, strategic, educated. You don't need to gamble your life away. You just need to start betting on yourself. Start small. Launch a side hustle. Pitch your ideas. Learn new skills. Start investing. Take on challenges you're not ready for.
Let failure teach you. Let rejection shape you. Let movement build you. You don't eliminate risk, you evolve through it. 4.10. The only way out is through. If you're stuck, broke, frustrated, or uninspired, it's not because you're unlucky. It's not because you're not smart. It's not because the system is against you. It's because you've been avoiding the very thing that sets you free. Risk. Risk of looking dumb. Risk of being wrong. Risk of failing. But all success lives on the other side of those exact things. So here's the question. Are you willing to stay broke just to stay safe? Or are you ready to pay the price of freedom? Because playing it safe might protect your ego today, but it'll bankrupt your legacy tomorrow. Part 5. When you choose comfort, you choose limits. 5.1. Every comfort comes with a border. Comfort feels nice. It feels soft, warm, familiar. But what most people don't realize is this. Comfort always comes with boundaries. The more you choose comfort, the smaller your world becomes. Every time you say no to discomfort, you say no to growth. You say no to expansion. You say no to becoming more than you are today. Because every comfort zone has walls. And those walls, they're not there to protect you. They're there to contain you. 5.2. Comfort is a trade-off. Peace of mind today for missed opportunities tomorrow. Certainty for capacity. Ease for excellence. You're choosing a smaller version of life because it doesn't ask as much from you. But what happens when your potential starts banging on the walls? What happens when the life you could have lived is screaming at the life you've settled for? That's when the peace fades, and all you're left with is regret. 5.3. Limits become habits. When you choose comfort once, it's a moment. When you choose it often, it becomes a habit. And when that habit hardens, it becomes your identity. You stop trying. You stop dreaming. You stop believing anything else is possible. You start saying things like, "That's just who I am. I'm not cut out for that. Maybe in another life. I'm too old. I've missed my window." But those aren't facts. They're limits you chose. Limits comfort handed you, and you accepted without a fight. 5.4. The trap of low expectations. Comfort lowers your standards. You stop asking for more, not because you don't want it, but because you're afraid you won't get it. So you settle for jobs you don't love, relationships that drain you, health that barely functions, friends that don't inspire you, days that blur together, and worst of all, you convince yourself this is normal. You adapt to the cage. You decorate it. You call it home. But you were never meant to live that small. 5.5. The ceiling you live under is the one you built. Here's the hard truth. Most of your limits are self-imposed. They weren't given to you. You chose them. Through comfort, through fear, through convenience. The ceiling above you, it didn't come with the house. You built it. Every time you said, "I can't. I won't. It's too hard. What if I fail?" You added another tile to that ceiling. And now you're bumping your head against your own creation. 5.6. Comfort makes you passive. Comfort convinces you to wait, to observe, to hope things will magically improve, to believe that someday the path will open without you pushing. But here's the reality. Life doesn't hand power to the passive. The world rewards the movers. the builders, the ones who get uncomfortable and take charge anyway. If you're waiting for life to give you permission, you'll wait forever. Comfort makes you a spectator, and spectators never win the game. 5.7. Limits are addictive. There's a strange safety in smallness. When you live a small life, there's less at stake, less risk, less judgment, less pressure, less responsibility. It's tempting, but it comes at a high price. Eventually, you forget how to want more. You become afraid of your own potential, and you start defending your limits instead of destroying them. That's when comfort becomes addiction, and addiction becomes identity. 5.8. You were not built for smallness. You weren't born to play small. You weren't designed to just get by. There's something in you, deep down, that knows this. It shows up in that restless feeling you get when things are too easy. That voice in your head asking, "Is this it?" That ache in your chest when you see others doing what you know you could. That's your soul rebelling against limits, because you weren't made for safety. You were made for expansion. 5.9. Real freedom comes with discomfort. Ironically, the only way to become truly free is to walk straight through the fire of discomfort, because discomfort teaches you what you're made of. It forces you to grow, builds resilience, reveals new dimensions of who you are. Every time you choose discomfort, you push the walls back just a little bit. You grow your capacity. You expand your reality. You stretch your world. And suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes your new baseline. 5.10. Choose growth over comfort every time. At the end of your life, you won't regret what made you sweat. You'll regret what kept you safe. You'll regret every time you said, "Not now. It's too hard. Maybe later. I'm not ready." Because those words didn't just keep you comfortable, they kept you small. You're not stuck because you don't have options. You're stuck because you keep choosing easy over growth. But you can choose again, right now. So ask yourself, what limits have you accepted? What comforts are keeping you small? And are you willing to trade a little discomfort for a much bigger life? Because the moment you choose growth, you choose to become limitless.
Part 6. The Comfort Crisis. Why this generation is the softest yet most stressed. 6.1. We've never had it easier, so why are we struggling? We live in the most advanced, convenient, and connected era in human history. We have food on demand, knowledge in our pockets, entertainment 24/7, climate-controlled homes, jobs we can do without leaving the bed. And yet we are more anxious, overwhelmed, directionless, emotionally fragile, spiritually disconnected. What gives? Why is it that with so much comfort, we feel so uncomfortable in our own skin? This is the paradox of modern life. The easier things get, the harder it becomes to be strong. 6.2. The epidemic of emotional fragility. In the world of instant gratification, resilience has become rare. We avoid anything that might cause discomfort. Difficult conversations, hard feedback, delayed results, boredom, effort. Instead, we numb with scrolling, streaming, snacking, shopping, sleeping too much. And when real challenges hit, because life will challenge you, we crumble. This generation has been shielded from so much pain that even minor resistance feels like trauma. We're not weak because we were born that way. We're weak because we haven't practiced being strong. 6.3. Too comfortable to grow, too anxious to rest. This is the new mental prison. You're too comfortable to feel urgency, but too anxious to feel peace. You want change, but you don't want effort. You crave purpose, but you avoid pain. You want success, but you're allergic to discipline. So you end up in a weird space, not suffering enough to make a radical change, but not fulfilled enough to relax. That constant tension is exhausting, and it's the root of the modern burnout epidemic. 6.4. Strength comes from struggle, not convenience. Ask anyone who's truly successful, emotionally, physically, financially, and they'll tell you their strength came from struggle, from rejection, loss, poverty, pain, failure. Comfort never made anyone powerful. It's the reps under pressure that build resilience. It's the effort in darkness that sharpens character. It's falling and getting up that makes you unbreakable. The problem is, most people haven't fallen enough because they've avoided it their whole life. And now, they have no tools to deal with reality when it bites. Our comfort culture is creating crisis. We've normalized things that were once considered luxuries. Delivering food instead of cooking, watching success instead of building it, escaping from pain instead of healing it. We've created a society that encourages victimhood over accountability, instant rewards over delayed gratification, validation over values. We've elevated comfort to a virtue and demonized struggle as a sign of failure. But that's how we've raised a generation of people who panic when Wi-Fi drops, but can't hold a real conversation, who can order anything but can't commit to anything, who can scroll for hours but can't sit with their thoughts for 5 minutes. The mental decay of avoiding discomfort. Avoiding discomfort doesn't make you safer, it makes you softer, and soft minds crack under pressure. We're not meant to live stress-free lives. We're meant to face stress, adapt, and grow stronger from it. Just like muscles need resistance to grow, the mind needs challenges to evolve. But comfort culture trains us to flinch at effort, avoid failure, run from conflict, quit when it's hard. And then we wonder why we feel broken when real life doesn't bend to our preferences. Emotional strength is earned, not given. No one is born with mental toughness. It's earned through exposure, challenge, and perseverance. Every time you avoid a hard thing, you rob yourself of emotional muscle. Every time you do the hard thing anyway, you deposit into your mental bank. But our culture keeps overdrawing. Easy options, comfortable lies, gentle escapes. We've forgotten that strength is forged, not inherited. And the longer we avoid the fire, the colder and weaker we become. Generation safe isn't actually safe. We've tried to protect this generation from danger, but in so doing, we've also protected them from growth. We bubble wrap their failures. We canceled anything uncomfortable. We softened the edges of reality. But here's the outcome. Safe people who are scared of risk, educated minds with fragile spirits, connected lives with disconnected souls. And it's not just sad, it's dangerous. Because fragile people don't build strong futures. They don't fight for change. They don't protect freedom. They don't lead revolutions. They stay stuck, scared, and small. The antidote: voluntary discomfort. If comfort is the poison, voluntary discomfort is the cure. Not trauma, not chaos, but intentional challenge. This means waking up early when you don't have to, saying no to things that are easy and addictive, doing things that stretch you emotionally, physically, financially, having hard conversations, trying things you might fail at. Discomfort sharpens your edge, and sharp edges are what cut through the noise. If you want to feel alive again, choose the harder road, not because it's painful, but because it's real. Raise your threshold, change your life. Right now, most people's discomfort threshold is too low. A little stress, breakdown. A little effort, quit. A little delay, rage. A little pressure, hide. But here's the good news. Your threshold can rise. Every time you lean into discomfort, you expand what you can handle. You go from flinching to focusing, from surviving to thriving, from fearing pressure to performing under it. This is the new wealth, not just money, but capacity, the ability to hold more, to face more, to build more, to rise above what breaks others. And it all begins with rejecting comfort as the highest goal.
Part 7. Why you'll never get rich playing by comfortable rules. 7.1. Wealth and comfort don't grow in the same soil. Let's make one thing brutally clear. Comfort and wealth do not coexist, at least not in the beginning. You can't use the same rules that keep you comfortable to build a life of financial freedom. Why? Because the very behaviors that make you feel safe are often the same ones that keep you broke. 7.2. Comfortable rules are designed for survival, not success. Comfortable rules sound like this. Save what you can and hope it grows. Get a steady job with good benefits. Don't take risks with your money. Buy a house, pay it off slowly. Live below your means and retire at 65. And you know what? Those rules might help you survive, but they'll never make you wealthy. Why? Because wealth doesn't come from playing not to lose. It comes from playing to win. And to win, you have to break free from the rules built for average. 7.3. The financial system wasn't built for you to win. Let's be honest. Most of what we're taught about money is designed to benefit someone else. The school system never taught you how to invest, how to leverage debt, how to build multiple income streams, how taxes actually work, how to scale a business. You were taught how to comply, not how to create. That's intentional, because a comfortable, obedient worker is the foundation of the system, not a bold, financially free entrepreneur. 7.4. Risk is the entry fee to wealth. You will never meet a self-made millionaire who avoided risk. Why? Because risk is the entry fee to every major wealth gate. Investing? Risky. Starting a business? Risky. Quitting your job? Risky. Building something from scratch? Risky. Asking for more? Risky. But do you know what's riskier? Staying comfortable. Staying employed by someone else forever. Waiting for permission. Relying on one source of income. Playing by the rules you were handed. If you want wealth, you must walk through discomfort. There's no VIP pass around it. 7.5. The wealthy live by a different rulebook. Here's what the wealthy do differently. They invest when others save. They buy assets, not just things. They leverage debt, not avoid it blindly. They create value, not just consume it. They ask better questions, not just follow directions. And, most importantly, they embrace discomfort as the price of greatness. They know that wealth isn't built by comfort. It's built by calculated, consistent boldness. 7.6. Comfort kills the drive to multiply money. When you're comfortable, you don't feel the urge to multiply. You feel the urge to maintain. You'll hoard your savings, avoid investing in yourself, stay in a job that pays enough, put off uncomfortable financial decisions. But guess what? Money that sits shrinks. Inflation eats it. Fear paralyzes it. Comfort wastes it. Money, like a muscle, must be stretched to grow. The rich don't park their money. They put it to work. And that requires discomfort. 7.7. Time, not talent, builds wealth. You don't need to be the smartest, most talented, or most connected to become rich. You need discipline, time, courage, and consistency. And above all, the ability to stay uncomfortable longer than most people are willing to. Because wealth is not a jackpot, it's a grind. A series of decisions that feel hard today, but pay off tomorrow. The question is, can you delay comfort long enough to build it for life? 7.8. The real game is earn, multiply, scale. Here's the real wealth game. Earn more than you need, multiply what you keep, scale what works. Comfortable people stop at step 1. They earn just enough and then spend it. Uncomfortable people keep going. They take what they earn and multiply it through investments, side hustles, skills, and scalable systems. And then what? They scale those multipliers. That's how wealth is built. Comfort says, I'm fine with this paycheck. Discomfort says, what's next? 7.9. Playing by comfortable rules delays everything. Let's say you do everything right. Save 10% of your income, buy a house, pay off your debt, work a 9 to 5 for 40 years. Hope your retirement plan is enough. What do you get? A life that might be financially okay by 65, if nothing goes wrong. But what about freedom now? Time with your kids now, adventure now, health now. Comfort rules delay the life you want until the version of you that wanted it is gone. 7.10. You must outgrow the rules you were raised on. If you were raised to fear risk, chase security, and settle for good enough, you're not broken, you're programmed. But you can rewrite the code. You can start asking, what if I fail but learn something 10 times more valuable? What if I invested in myself and it changed everything? What if comfort isn't safety but sabotage? Wealth begins in the mind, and the wealthy mindset says, comfort is a trap. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to build. So stop playing by the rules written for average. Write your own playbook. Because the game doesn't reward the comfortable, it rewards the courageous.
Part 8. Trading the short-term high for long-term freedom. Modern life is addicted to instant gratification. Open your phone, scroll for 5 seconds. You've got a dopamine hit from a like, a laugh from a meme, a fantasy from a reel, a rush from an online purchase, a distraction from your discomfort. Modern life is engineered to make you feel good right now, even if it means robbing you of what you truly want later. The algorithm rewards your impatience. The market profits from your short-term cravings. And your dreams? They get pushed further into the background. Because every time you choose a short-term high, you delay your long-term freedom. 8.2. Comfort feels good now, costs everything later. Let's be real. Comfort is delicious in the moment. Skipping the workout, ordering takeout instead of cooking, watching Netflix instead of building your side hustle, sleeping in instead of reading or creating, spending now instead of saving. But the cost? A weaker body, a weaker bank account, a weaker mind, a life that feels small, blurry, and repetitive. Short-term comfort is like sugar. It spikes your mood, then crashes your life. 8.3. The delayed gratification advantage. Want to know the one trait that separates the successful from the stuck? The ability to delay gratification. The ability to say no to easy, so you can say yes to excellence. Not yet to pleasure, so you can say now to purpose. I'll wait to spending, so you can say I'm free to your finances. Long-term thinkers make uncomfortable decisions today that create massive comfort tomorrow. Not the fake kind of comfort, but real freedom. Time freedom, energy freedom, choice freedom. 8.4. Most people are trapped in pleasure loops. Our brains love loops. Scroll to dopamine, scroll again. Eat to feel good, eat again. Spend to excited, spend again. Avoid discomfort to relief, avoid again. Each loop is a cage, and the bars are built from comfort. You're not just wasting time, you're reinforcing the wiring of inaction, avoidance, and dependency. To break the loop, you need friction. You need to choose the hard thing intentionally. 8.5. The freedom trade-off. Pain now or pain later. Here's the deal. You can suffer now by doing the hard work, or you can suffer later by living with regret. Both paths come with pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. The pain of sacrifice or the pain of scarcity. The pain of patience or the pain of panic. You don't get to avoid pain. You only get to choose when and why you feel it. And those who choose short-term discomfort end up with long-term peace. 8.6. Every shortcut has a hidden cost. Comfort whispers, take the shortcut, but here's what it doesn't tell you. That crash diet wrecks your metabolism. That easy money scheme drains your integrity. That copycat business kills your creativity. That skipping the process steals your potential. There are no real shortcuts to freedom, only well-disguised detours that circle you back to where you started, just more frustrated and tired. True wealth of time, money, and meaning comes from depth, not hacks. 8.7. Freedom requires investing in the future you. Every choice you make today is a vote for your future self. Will they thank you, or will they wonder why you sold them out for comfort? When you learn instead of scroll, save instead of spend, build instead of binge, create instead of complain, push instead of pause, you're investing in a version of you who wakes up free, not because life got easy, but because you got stronger. 8.8. You can't escape the work, only postpone it. Many people avoid discomfort thinking it will go away. It won't. It just gets heavier with time. The workout you skip today becomes the health crisis tomorrow. The side hustle you put off becomes financial panic. The hard conversation you dodge becomes emotional resentment. The budget you avoid becomes debt. You don't eliminate effort by avoiding it. You multiply it. What takes 30 minutes today may take years to fix later. 8.9. Build habits that outlast emotion. The biggest danger of comfort, it teaches you to act based on how you feel, instead of on who you want to become. That's why most people are stuck. They wait to feel motivated, feel ready, feel inspired, feel confident. But greatness isn't built on feelings. It's built on systems, standards, and habits that work, even when you don't feel like it. Freedom belongs to those who act despite emotion, not because of it. 8.10. The reward no one talks about. Here's the part most people don't tell you. When you start choosing long-term freedom over short-term comfort, you don't just get results, you get self-respect. You walk taller, you trust yourself more, you feel in control again. Because you know, I didn't take the easy way out. I chose the harder road, and I'm becoming someone I actually admire. That's the real win. Not just the money, not just the success, but the identity you've earned. So trade the next quick fix for the next bold decision. Because short-term highs fade fast, but long-term freedom, that lasts a lifetime.
Part 9. The identity shift from comfortable consumer to powerful creator. 9.1. You're not just broke in money, you're broke in identity. You think the reason you're stuck is because you don't have the money, but the truth is far deeper. You're still operating with the identity of a consumer, not a builder, not a creator, not a leader. And no amount of money will fix that. Because even if you're handed wealth today, if your mindset is still rooted in consuming over creating, you'll lose it. Guaranteed. Wealth sticks to people who know how to generate it, not those who are waiting to receive it. 9.2. Comfort keeps you consuming. Comfort convinces you that your role in the world is to watch, scroll, order, react, buy, follow. You're rewarded for sitting still and consuming what others made. Algorithms feed you what to want. Ads tell you who to be. Brands sell you identity in a box. And while you're busy consuming, your creative energy dies. Not because you don't have ideas, but because you never sit long enough with silence to hear them. 9.3. The creator identity is uncomfortable at first. Being a creator is hard at the beginning because it demands more than effort. It demands exposure. You have to share your voice, show your work, risk looking foolish, be rejected, be misunderstood, keep going anyway. That's why most stay consumers. It's easier to critique than to contribute. It's safer to scroll than to ship. It's more comfortable to buy than to build. But in that comfort, you forfeit your power. 9.4. Consumers follow trends. Creators shape the future. Let's be clear. The world is divided into two types of people: those who create the culture and those who consume it. The first group sets direction. The second group waits to be told what to do. You can't be free if you're always waiting for permission, waiting for trends, waiting for the next big thing to include you. Creators don't wait, they initiate. That's why creators get wealthy, because they build the very systems that consumers depend on. 9.5. Creation is ownership. When you consume, you borrow. When you create, you own your thoughts, your platform, your product, your message, your life. Ownership is the foundation of freedom, and comfort has trained you to fear ownership, because ownership comes with responsibility. But that's exactly why it's powerful. When you own, you choose, you design, you build, you command. 9.6. The internal shift that changes everything. Here's where it all changes. When you go from asking, "What can I get?" to asking, "What can I make?" That single shift from extraction to creation transforms your energy, your wealth, your time, your relationships, your confidence. You no longer feel like a pawn in someone else's game. You become the architect of your reality. And with each thing you create, you expand your influence. 9.7. You are already creative. You've just been distracted. You don't need to become creative. You already are. You've just been distracted. Your phone stole your imagination. Your job dulled your ambition. Your routines numbed your curiosity. But it's still in you. That book, that design, that idea, that movement, that solution, that new way of thinking. It's waiting for you to unplug from comfort and plug back in to creation. 9.8. The power of building in silence. You don't have to announce yourself. You don't need 100K followers. You don't have to go viral. You just have to build in silence, consistently, patiently, boldly. Because while consumers are chasing noise, creators are stacking value. And one day that value compounds so powerfully that the world can no longer ignore you. You don't need to chase attention. Just build. The results will speak. 9.9. Creation is the most spiritual act. To create is divine. It's a rebellion against helplessness. It's a refusal to be passive. It's a declaration, I will not just exist. I will make something matter. When you create, you touch something eternal. You contribute. You give. You imprint your soul into the world. Comfort wants you to shrink. Creation demands that you expand. Choose expansion. 9.10. You must kill the consumer to birth the creator. You can't hold both identities. One will choke the other. You can't binge and build. You can't numb and rise. You can't scroll through others' lives while trying to design your own. At some point, you must decide, I'm done being just a consumer. I'm ready to create. Even if it's messy, even if it's hard, even if it's scary. Because I'm not here to survive the algorithm. I'm here to build a life that's mine. That's the shift. From broke to building. From passive to powerful. From comfort to creation.
Burn the comfort zone. How to live, work, and think like you're meant to win. 10.1. The comfort zone isn't a place, it's a prison. You don't live in your house, you live in your patterns. The comfort zone isn't physical, it's psychological. It's the thoughts you won't challenge, the skills you won't develop, the conversations you avoid, the dreams you shelve because they scare you. And the more you decorate that mental prison, the more it feels like home. But no matter how cozy you make it, a cage is still a cage. You were not born to live inside limitations. You were born to break them. 10.2. You're not meant to merely survive. You weren't designed to clock in, clock out, repeat for 40 years, then quietly disappear. You weren't built to live paycheck to paycheck, staring at screens, buying things you don't need to impress people who don't care. That's not living, that's sleepwalking. You're meant to build, lead, impact, transform, leave something behind that outlives you. But you can't do any of that while clinging to comfort. 10.3. Discomfort is a compass, not a curse. If it scares you, it probably matters. If it stretches you, it's probably worth it. If it unsettles you, it's probably your next step. Discomfort isn't something to avoid, it's a compass pointing toward growth. Every successful person you admire has this one thing in common. They made peace with discomfort. They welcomed the hard road. They leaned into the unknown. They failed, learned, and came back stronger. And that's why they win. 10.4. Winners are not special, they're trained. Here's the truth most people won't admit. Winners are not born different. They just train differently. They've trained their minds to stay focused, bodies to endure pressure, habits to serve their future, mouths to speak belief, not doubt, actions to reflect where they want to go, not where they've been. And that training starts with one decision: burn the comfort zone. Not escape it, not tiptoe out of it. Burn it to the ground so there's no way back. 10.5. How to live like you're meant to win. Here's what it looks like to live like a winner. You wake up with purpose, not by default. You set standards that make you uncomfortable. You protect your time like it's treasure. You create more than you consume. You choose effort over excuses. You pursue clarity over chaos. You surround yourself with energy that sharpens you. You act now, not later, not someday, not when you feel like it. Because winning is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And the lifestyle starts with your next choice. 10.6. How to work like you're meant to win. When you work like a winner, you don't just put in hours, you pursue impact. You don't settle for busy, you chase results. You don't wait for direction, you initiate. You don't stay comfortable, you push past your edge. You're not working to survive, you're working to build a life so powerful that you never have to ask for permission again. Comfortable workers wait to be told what to do. Powerful workers create what's next. 10.7. How to think like you're meant to win. Mindset isn't fluff. It's the control panel for your future. If your thoughts are small, your results will shrink to match them. So think like a winner. Ask, how could this work, instead of, what if it fails? See setbacks as feedback, not failure. Study your patterns with curiosity, not shame. Obsess over becoming, not pretending. Talk to yourself with power, not pity. Visualize the outcome and move toward it relentlessly. Your outer world cannot outgrow your inner world. Expand it. 10.9. Burn the backup plan. As long as there's a comfortable plan B, you'll never commit to plan A. Comfort gives you escape routes, but escape routes don't lead to success. They lead to compromise. If you want real success, you need to go all in. No backdoor, no excuses, no waiting for permission, no maybe someday. Just, I will make this work. I will figure it out. I will not retreat. That's how breakthroughs happen. 10.10. Comfort is temporary. Greatness is forever. The comfort you're clinging to, it fades fast. It satisfies for a moment, then it vanishes, leaving you emptier than before. But the greatness you build through discipline, discomfort, and grit, that lasts. It echoes in your family. It ripples through your community. It multiplies in the people you inspire. It lives on in what you've created. You don't need comfort, you need a legacy. 10.11. Your life is the message. Make it loud. The way you live is the message you send to the world. So what are you saying? That it's okay to settle? That comfort is worth more than purpose? That safety is the highest aim? That your dreams weren't worth the fight? Or will you say, I chose growth, I chose courage, I chose the uncomfortable path because I knew that was the way to become who I was meant to be? The world doesn't need more safe people. It needs lit souls, on fire with purpose, willing to burn the comfort zone for something greater. So light the match, walk into the flame, and become unforgettable. Because you weren't meant to survive. You were meant to win.
The time to escape is now. Let's be honest with each other. You didn't watch this video just for entertainment. You didn't sit through 10 chapters of uncomfortable truths because your life is already everything you want it to be. You stayed because something inside of you, maybe small, maybe silent, maybe buried, knows this life of comfort is a trap. A beautiful, well-furnished, cleverly marketed trap. And it's been keeping you broke. Broke in money, broke in purpose, broke in identity. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay there. You have two choices. Right now, you're standing at a fork in the road. To the left is comfort, familiar, predictable, easy. But it leads to quiet frustration, wasted potential, a life you tolerate, not love. To the right is courage. Unfamiliar, risky, uncomfortable, but it leads to freedom, fulfillment, a life you're proud to wake up to. You can't walk both paths. You must choose, and no one can choose it for you. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another video, another podcast, another plan. You need a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because every second you wait, your comfort zone grows stronger. Its roots dig deeper. Its grip tightens. And the cost of waiting isn't just time, it's everything you could have become. Start where you are, use what you have. You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to begin. Take one bold step. Say yes to one challenge. Say no to one distraction. Wake up earlier. Build for one more hour. Invest in one uncomfortable decision. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You need momentum. And momentum begins with movement. You are more powerful than you've been acting. You've been playing small, shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown, quieting your voice, taming your fire. But deep down, you know you're meant for more. And that more won't come find you. You have to rise and claim it. The version of you that's free, fulfilled, financially strong, They're waiting on the other side of discomfort. So break the chains, challenge the limits, burn the old rules, write your own story. The revolution begins with one person. This isn't just about money. This is about mission. When you break free from comfort, you become a force. You show your family what's possible. You inspire your friends to dream again. You teach your kids to be bold. You attract opportunities that never existed before. The world doesn't change through systems. It changes through individuals who choose courage over comfort. Be that person. Final words: comfort is a thief. Stop letting it win. If you've made it this far, it means you're ready. Maybe scared, but ready. So don't let this moment fade. Don't let this video be just another thing you liked. Let it be the moment everything changed. Because in the end, it's not your lack of talent, connections, or education that's holding you back. It's the lie that says, stay safe, stay small, stay still. But you're not here to play small. You're here to build, to rise, to win. So leave comfort behind and never look back.